you guys tagged me in this.
Indeed.
Okay.
You can change your confidence.
So apparently this guy's getting veneers, I want to say. I mean, his teeth look really good. I mean, he's literally just like a quick whitening away, maybe a tiny Invisalign. It looks really good. So I don't know what's going on here, but looks like they're getting him ready for bonding. You can see that Teflon. Okay, it looks like we're doing composite bonding. So this is a different type. I don't mind this. You can see how he's adding that composite glue there. And so this doesn't take away any tooth structure on the teeth, which is really important for me, I think. It's a good way to even test if you like veneers before you actually permanently get them, because this can be reversed. So it looks like they're polishing it up, and you do each tooth individually. You see how the next teeth are Teflon taped away so they don't get anything on them. And then he's artistically kind of doing each tooth together. Now the problem that I have with these is that they can get a lot thicker, right? And they get too thick because you're not taking away the tooth like you do in normal veneers. You have to add on top. You can get kind of what we call the horse teeth look. And so it looks like they just brought his laterals down a little bit. Oh my gosh, yeah, okay. I'm not trying to be mean. Those look really blocky. They look super blocky. They look super fake. They look kind of more like horse teeth than anything. Luckily for him, this is super important, is he did not ruin his teeth. He can just go get that shaved off and be perfectly fine. Anyways, let me know down below what you guys think either way. I love you guys. Bye. Oh my gosh. That literally scared the crap out of me when I saw this the first time. And these comments are something else. The barber when you take a little off the side. I'm going to the dentist tomorrow, but after seeing this, I'm not going anywhere. Bro didn't pay his bill, so he had to take them away. Well, Frodo Bentist, what is going on here, and why is this man getting his teeth shattered out of his face? These are either old crowns or veneers that need to be redone, and so he's taking them off, or they're temporary. You see, when we first do your crowns or veneers or whatever it is, we prep it, but we have to get something there before the lab can make your final crown. So we put these temporary veneers or crowns on there, and when we're done, well, we gotta get them off somehow. So what we do is we make that little line right down the middle to kind of make it easier, and then we pop them right off by twisting motion. It just shatters them into pieces. And for those asking what this metal thing is down below, sometimes we have porcelain fused to metal crowns, and so that's the metal housing on the bottom, and the porcelain goes on top over that. That being said, it doesn't make it look any less painful. In fact, it looks really excruciating.
Words like violence break the silence, come crashing in.
Listen, it's Christmas season, and y'all are still tagging me about getting your vampire retainers. So you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you exactly what you need to do to go ahead and get these for yourself so you can stop asking me. First, now this is super important, okay? I need you to go to your dental office and you're gonna ask for something specifically called composite bonding, okay? You don't want veneers, you don't want crowns, you don't want anything else. You want specifically composite bonding. Now what composite bonding is it's actually tooth-colored glue that matches the shade of your teeth. Now this is another important thing. You wanna make sure that you ask them to shade match, okay? You're gonna actually have them take one of these bad boys right here. It's called a shade guide. And it's gonna match the exact shade of your teeth, because if you do this any other way, your canines that you're forming are gonna look completely opposite from the other teeth. Fun fact, this is actually why we have those blue bibs. Have you ever seen those baby blue kind of like colored things on top of our things? That's for us to actually look at and reset our cone receptors in our eye so we can accurately color match your teeth. When you get the color shade match, they're gonna put that composite on your teeth. It's gonna be a glue-like material, and then they're gonna polish it off. The reason why this is super important is because they're not gonna take away any of your enamel of your teeth. They're just gonna build up on top of your teeth, meaning you're not gonna hurt any of that dentin or enamel that you got going on in your teeth. This is super important. Now lastly, when they get this on, this is also super important, is you're gonna take a look at your bite. You're gonna bite all over. You're gonna go side to side, and you're gonna see if it's hitting high anywhere. We don't want it to hit high anywhere. You want him to adapt the occlusion on the back to make sure these new canines are not hitting hard anywhere, because if you are, it can cause pain, and it can also move those teeth, causing crowding. Now here, the final rule, super important, is don't tell them that I sent you, because if I have dentists getting told that the Bentist sent them from miles around all over America getting these canine teeth, and they know that the gig is up on the composite canine veneers, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble, so please don't do that. Enjoy your canines and have fun doing a Twilight cosplay or whatever you guys do.
I don't know if they're gonna fit. Oh shit, it fits. Oh.
Haven't seen a retainer like that in a while, but let's talk. You see, retainers are something we all get when we have braces or Invisalign or whatever, and you know what? They're a nuisance, but you know what? They're super important. And it sounds like a lot of people in the comments have different experiences with retainers. Let's check it out. We have, I don't understand why people don't wear them. Like, braces are expensive. And somebody else said, this is a sign to just get permanent retainers. It has saved me. Probably the most common thing we see in orthodontics is people that don't wear their retainers, their teeth shift, and then they have to go back into braces again. And so really, we break it down to two options here. Wear your retainers, or some people said get your permanent retainers, but we need to talk about permanent retainers. You see, permanent retainers are great until they're not. And they're not a lot of the time. Things that can happen, you can break off a tooth and not even know it, and that tooth will shift because you're not wearing a retainer. You're completely unknown. And guess what? You're gonna break that permanent retainer eventually. It's not an if it's gonna happen, it's a when it's gonna happen. And then a couple months go by, that tooth has shifted so much, you have nothing to back it up because you're not wearing a regular retainer anymore, and then you have to go back into braces. But there is a light at the silver tunnel. So she has a gap that's opened up, some other thing that's happened and shifted, but as you can see, her retainer still fits. And retainers, especially the clear ones, will still fit for a while and almost act like a mini Invisalign treatment to get your teeth back to straight if you catch it soon enough. So all she'll have to do is wear this full time for about 2 weeks, and then hopefully all of her teeth will go back to pretty much close to what she got off her braces with. Whereas if you have a permanent retainer and no clear retainer or anything to go on top of it, if it breaks and moves, you're done. You're stuck. There's nothing you can do. So be responsible, wear your retainer, and if you have a permanent retainer, ask them to give you a full retainer over the top of that permanent retainer so you have a backup in case it breaks. Hope that helps.
I went one night without wearing my retainer, and my gap is back.
It's almost like the retainer is made to retain your teeth, and if you don't wear it, they'll move. Nah, I'm just kidding. But for real though, unfortunately, she's in a circumstance that causes a lot of issues with retainers, specifically a reason why you would want a permanent retainer. And it seems like some of you guys in the comments agree. Someone said, get the permanent retainer, it's worth every cent. And somebody else said, LMAO, so glad they put a permanent retainer behind my gap. But why is a permanent retainer something that you need in this case, Bentist? Why can't I just use a normal retainer? Well, to get that answer, we have to figure out how teeth work, okay? So teeth sit in your bone by all these little bungee cords, right? And you also have tissue between your teeth if you have a big gap in the middle of your mouth. And so if we're pulling these teeth between a big gap, not only are these bungee cords on each side stretching with the tooth, wanting to pull it back to where it was, but also there's tissue that's bunching up in between your teeth that forms almost like a mini tissue spring that wants to shoot these teeth right back out. And while wearing a normal retainer works really well, unfortunately in these cases for these type of people with big gaps in their front teeth when they started braces, well, when you don't wear them, that gap will open up, and as little as a day, as this person said. Now there are a few different options you can do. One of them is even cutting the little, it's called like a circumfibrotomy or whatever, where you actually cut the little cords, the bungee cords that are attached to the tooth to stop it from pulling outward. And another one is that's really common is the permanent retainer. So what we do there is we just put a little bonded piece of metal behind the two front teeth, and then you light those on there, the permanent retainer, right? And then what that does is it holds it shut. So if you're not wearing your retainer during the day, it'll hold it closed. The only issue with these is that when you're biting down in the back of those front teeth, you can chop it off and break it off, and unfortunately that gap will open up. That's why we tell you guys to wear your retainer at nighttime, even if you have a permanent retainer. Now for her, something she can do is if she can find her clear retainers, even though her gap did open up, she can go ahead and wear those full time until that gap closes back up, then go to her orthodontist and get that permanent retainer on the back, and then get a new retainer made.
There's no one like you around, oh baby. I really like what you.
Someone just wants to watch the world burn, doesn't she? But for real though, Bentist, what's the deal with eating in braces? Can I eat whatever I want, or do I have to stay strict to the rule? Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's some people that can literally eat anything with braces and never break a bracket. In fact, let's check out the comments here. Someone said, I eat anything, I do not care. I gets down, I don't play. And someone else said, I still eat everything and my bracket never broke. But how can they be eating everything and not breaking brackets when I'm eating crunchy stuff and I'm breaking brackets? Well, the word here is intent. You see, from what I've seen over the years, if you're careless, if you have something crunchy, sticky, chewy, whatever, and you just go in, you just don't care at all, you turn off your pressure receptors, you forget that you got braces on, you will break a bracket. 100%, it will happen. But there are people that can kind of just, I don't know, figure out how to chew with braces. I would say that it's almost like chewing like a cow, where where you got to kind of grind side to side. When you go kind of more side to side to chew, you learn, versus an up and down chewing, you won't torque that bracket and pop it off. Now, another thing that could be completely different is maybe her brackets are up out of the way, or she's not biting in areas. I mean, if her brackets are low enough out of the way, when she bites down, her teeth don't really go near them, and so that food and everything in between can't break the brackets off. Now, am I recommending you to go out and eat whatever you want? No, obviously not, because a majority of you are gonna break things on chewy, sticky, crunchy items, okay? Don't do it. But for those of you that aren't gonna listen to me, at least chew more grinding side to side versus up and down. And if you're just a magician with the brackets and you never break anything, don't tell me that you're eating everything bad. Just let's let it be, okay? Maybe let me sleep better at night. Oh, the dreaded braces lip stuck. And it looks like people in the comments actually had the same exact problem. I feel so extra doing this, but I'm sorry, my lips get stuck. And someone else said, it's so embarrassing when my lips get stuck and I'm talking to somebody. And the fun fact is, I got this bracket and I had it on there for over a year, and you know, I can attest, it does get stuck sometimes. But that's not actually the only thing that you have to get used to when you just get your braces on. Here's a few tips to help you out. One, the brackets do get kind of tough and stuck on your lips, but the hooks actually on the brackets are normally the culprit. And so something that you can do to help this out is actually use some wax. So you can actually ball up the wax and you can put it on there. That will help smooth it over to help those lips slide a little bit better. If the regular wax isn't sticking very good, a couple tips that you can do is actually dry the area completely, and then you can use some hot water or something to soften up the wax and make it into a ball, and then you can put that on the dry bracket and it'll stick a lot better when it's dry. Another thing that you're gonna have to get used to is your wires poking you in the back. It actually happens because at the start, your teeth are all crooked and all mixed up, and when they straighten out, the wire will shoot out the back, poking you in the back of the mouth. Now, you can also use that wax as well to help stick it on there, or you just call your orthodontist and get your wire clipped really quickly and it'll be just fine. And lastly, you just got to get used to the pain overall. I mean, you got muscles in these teeth, and basically it's like having 32 sore muscles at the same time. And so what you can do is take some Tylenol for the pain, and then also some ice water will help a lot too, because that ice water will actually deactivate the heat activated wires, giving you a little bit of time and pressure taken off your teeth to kind of help you get through it a bit. Luckily for you, the lips and the tongue and the poking and the soreness will go away after a week or two, and also talking too. You'll get used to talking, and then after that, really your braces journey is pretty easy after that. But until then, just use those tips until you get that Hollywood smile.
You guys, it's about...
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've been tagged in a video more than I have this week of this video. And I think it's a really good time to talk about veneers. In fact, some of you guys in the comments are already talking about them, saying, veneers were the biggest mistake of my life. I regret them so much. And Tana even replied with a, oh, you're correct. And then somebody else said, okay, fine, I won't get veneers. And she said, don't. But for real though, are veneers really bad? And did Tana even really have veneers? Let's talk about it. Well, first off, I've told you guys plenty of times, hundreds of times, that if you like the shape of your teeth and you can avoid getting any type of cosmetic procedure like veneers or crowns or anything like that, avoid it, because this is what you're going to be dealing with for the rest of your life. Now, I will say a lot of people are hating on veneers here, and they do pop off quite often, but this one actually almost looks like she has a crown, not a veneer. You can really tell that her tooth is barely there. It's just a tiny little nub, which means the whole entire tooth was shaved off from all sides, and it's just a tiny little thing, and so that crown doesn't really have much to hold on to. Veneers are normally only the front little part of the tooth. This is a crown versus a veneer prep, and so veneers are really just a light shaving off the top, and although they can pop off the front, not near as bad as that or crazy as that. And I think she's actually had issues with this multiple times. Things I would recommend in her situation is, well, she's got kind of not very much tooth structure left. They can put a metal post in there to try and like make it more secure in some cases, and then some cases, actually another thing I would probably suggest for her to do is make sure they whittle it away so she's not hitting at all in her front teeth. And now that she doesn't have anything to really hold that crown in much, unfortunately, she's probably gonna have to avoid eating anything with her front teeth for the rest of her life. It's actually crazy to me how many people on a daily basis ask me about getting veneers, and I see their teeth and they literally are super pretty teeth. I'm so confused why they would want them. My two rules are, if you have perfect teeth, if you have really good shaped teeth and they're just a little bit crowded or whatever, get some Invisalign, get some braces, whatever, really quickly, get them straightened, and then you'll have your perfect teeth for the rest of your life, they'll look awesome. Sometimes they're just yellow, and then you guys want to get veneers to whiten them. Just get some $30 whitening strips from Walmart and go ahead and whiten them. It's way better than having to deal with this for the rest of your life, plus all the thousands of dollars in dental bills for the rest of your life. Absolutely do not get tricked into getting veneers if your teeth is going to look like this after, because she got probably tricked into doing veneers when they really just made them all entire crowns. Also not a good look. Now that being said, if your teeth are just weirdly shaped or you just hate the way that they look, sometimes veneers are the only option to get you what they want. And there is different ways that just make a ton of sense to do those. But in this case, probably not. And as you can see, they can cause a lot of issues. For her, she's gonna go back to the dentist. They're gonna glue it back in, maybe add a post or something for some more retention. But other than that, she's kind of stuck with what she's got for the rest of her life.